Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into the tech that's completely changing how businesses manage their most valuable asset, their people. We're going to break down modern HR software, what it is, why it's so incredibly important, and a little bit about how it's actually built. So let's just kick things off with a question that a lot of leaders are probably asking themselves right now. As your company scales and the workplace changes, are your tools for managing people actually keeping up? Or are they, creating friction and headaches you just don't have time for? And that question leads us right into our first section. We need to frame the core challenge that all these modern HR solutions are built to solve. Because trust me, it's about so much more than just paperwork. It's about the actual engine that runs your entire organization. The reality for a lot of companies is that they're just bogged down by old-school processes. We're talking manual data entry, constantly worrying about compliance, and an employee experience that feels, well, totally disconnected. And these aren't just minor annoyances, they're huge business risks. This is the exact problem that modern HR software is designed to fix. Okay, so what's actually inside one of these powerful systems? What's in the box? In this next section, we're going to pop the hood and look at the essential building blocks that make up a complete modern HR toolkit. Let's start with a really key term you'll see everywhere, HRMS. That stands for Human Resource Management System. Now, don't think of it as just one piece of software. It's more like a central command center, an integrated suite of tools designed to make managing your workforce totally seamless and a whole lot smarter. See, a really great HRMS isn't just one giant clunky program. It's actually broken down into different modules, things like recruiting, payroll, performance reviews, and even training. But the real magic is that they all talk to each other, creating one single source of truth for every bit of employee data. The system also has to juggle two supercritical jobs that often get overlooked. On one hand, you have device provisioning, which is all about getting new hires the laptops and tools they need to be productive from the moment they walk in the door. And on the other hand, you have identity access management, making sure all that sensitive employee data is locked down and secure. It's this perfect balance of moving fast while staying safe. All right, let's move beyond just the features for a minute. Let's see how this kind of technology really transforms the entire journey for an employee. I'm talking from the second they apply for a job to even after they've left the company. You can really see that whole life cycle mapped out right here. It all starts with a great applicant tracking system to find the best people. Then you move into mobile hiring because, let's face it, everyone's on their phones. Once they're hired, a smooth onboarding makes them feel welcome. And it even handles offboarding, making sure that when people leave, it's done professionally and by the book. Every single step is powered by tech, creating this one cohesive, positive experience. But it's not just about the hellos and goodbyes, right? What about everything in between? Employee tracking has become a really vital tool for understanding how work actually gets done and figuring out how performance can be boosted across the entire organization. And I want to be super clear here. This is not about micromanagement. It's about using data to make better decisions. It's for smarter workforce management, for evaluating performance in a fair way, for genuinely boosting productivity, and for making sure everyone's following the necessary rules and regulations. It's all about creating transparency and efficiency for everybody. Okay, this all sounds pretty great, right? But how does a company actually get a system like this up and running? Well, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. So in this next section, let's explore the different paths you can take to get your hands on modern HR tech. You've basically got a few main options on the table. You could develop a totally custom system from scratch to make sure it's a perfect fit. You could take an existing product you have and modernize it. You could switch to what's called a SaaS model. That's a subscription where you get automatic updates. Or you could even start with some expert consulting to figure out the right strategy for your company's specific needs. All right, for anyone who's a little bit of a tech nerd, and you know who you are, let's take a quick peek behind the curtain and see what these systems are actually built with. What does a modern tech stack for HR software look like? Now, you definitely don't need to be a developer to get this, but it's pretty cool to see the kind of powerful modern tools being used. For the front end, that's the part you actually see and click on. You've got frameworks like React and Angular. For the back end, the engine that makes it all run, you've got powerful languages like Python and Node.js. And the whole thing is supported by solid databases and really slick design tools like Figma. So the big question is, does all this fancy tech and all this effort actually pay off? The answer is a resounding yes. The data from companies who make the switch to a modern HRMS is just staggering. We are talking about huge jumps in efficiency, way better compliance, and a dramatically improved experience for the employees themselves. The numbers really speak for themselves. So let's just boil it all down and look at the big picture here. When you automate all those repetitive tasks, you free up your people to do more important strategic work. When you improve communication and get real data insights, you start making smarter, faster decisions. It becomes pretty clear this is a strategic investment, not just another line item on a budget. And this quote really says it all. Getting on board with this kind of technology isn't just about playing catch-up anymore. It's about actively embracing what the future of managing a workforce looks like. And that really just leaves us with one last and maybe most important question for you to think about. With tools like these out there, how could they totally reshape your organization? What does the future of your workforce look like?